It was the year 2020, and the pandemic had swept the world, bringing it to a standstill. Due to the pandemic, many public events were cancelled or postponed, causing a loss of revenue for both the artists and the industry as a whole. While most artists under large to medium-sized companies maintained momentum by adapting to the challenging landscapes and found new ways to connect with fans, this couldn't be farther from the truth for smaller agencies. COVID-19 had a particularly harsh impact on small K-pop companies and groups. These smaller entities often lack the resources and financial stability of larger companies, and the pandemic only exacerbated their struggles. As a result, many small K-pop groups faced difficulty staying afloat, and some were forced to disband or take a hiatus. Despite the unstable state of the industry, a man named Hwang Sung-woo used this to his advantage to create his own company. Hwang founded his own company named Spire Entertainment, intending to give less recognized talents a second opportunity to achieve their dreams. To create a giant supergroup with a unique identity, 11 members from disbanded or inactive boy groups were selected to form Omega X. The company announced the band's debut with their tagline, "Your Boys Have Come Back 2021. Omega X debuted on June 30th of that year with their first EP and lead single Vamos. Since then, the group has achieved a considerable level of success, with several high-charting singles, sold-out concerts, and a massive following of fans. Their popularity has also led to numerous endorsement deals, broadening their exposure and recognition in the industry. In the end, it wasn't their music or list of achievements that brought them to the world's attention, but rather their year-long nightmare of abuse by the agency. The first crack was exposed during the summer of 2022. The members of Omega X are known for being incredibly dedicated to communicating with their fans, 4Xs. The group's social media updates suddenly ceased in late August, causing concern among fans. According to the fandom, the members usually post daily, yet there were no updates since the beginning of the month. Huichan attempted to hold a livestream 12 times during the break, which was allegedly forcibly ended after 10 seconds each time. On the second day, Huichan posted a concerning message on the group's fan cafe, which was reportedly deleted soon after. Fans pointed out that even though the group's schedules continued as usual, a limited number of fans were allowed to participate in most of the schedules. Uncertainty among the fans was created when the company did not address the issues, with some even fearing the absence of statement marked the beginning of the group's split. The fandom suspected Spire Entertainment had enacted a social media ban on the members and called for the group to be allowed to return to social media. Shortly after, the group embarked on their first world tour, which presented its own set of issues. Now, it's important to note that somewhere between Omega X's debut to the end of their tour, the CEO position had been transferred from Hwang Sung-woo to Kang Sung-hee, leaving Hwang as Spire's chairman. Keep this in mind moving forward. On July 14th, 2022, Omega X announced their first world tour, Connect, Don't Give Up, which took place from September through October. There was a series of red flags raised during this tour, ranging from disorganized and canceled tour dates to fans not receiving paid benefits to multiple members suffering from injuries and being unable to perform. Finally, on the last day of the American tour, one of the members, Hung Yeom, concluded the show with a cryptic message.
I wanna tell you something. If you get hurt in your life, get cursed by someone, tell somebody. Please tell somebody. If you handle it alone, it will eat you up. And it will stay in your head. Will you give me a chance to protect you?
Initially perceived as an excellent conclusion to the tour, it rapidly devolved into a memorable event for unfavorable reasons. Further speculation that Omega X was being mistreated by their agency surfaced the night of their last tour date, when several fans took to social media claiming that they witnessed the members being berated and being physically abused in public. In the late hours after the concert, a fan took to Twitter to share a harrowing scene they witnessed between the members of Omega X and what appeared to be CEO Kang. The post reads, "Guys, I was waiting for the Uber that I called outside, and I saw the company CEO hitting the members. I really didn't know what to do since my hands were shaking so much. They were being hit right in front of me, but I couldn't do anything." Attached to the post was an audio clip of the alleged interaction.
나 이렇게 힘들 때 네가 나 케어했어? 하지 마.
여기 맞다.
야, 네가 뭔데? 네가 뭔데?
아니 쓰러지기 이러고 직전이에요.
나 쓰러졌어.
나
나.
Instantaneously, the tweet spread throughout the internet. Hashtag ProtectOmegaX started trending as the issue grew. Although the bulk of allegations was widely recognized after October 22nd, the fans who attended previous shows had raised awareness since the beginning of the tour. Now backed into a corner, Spire was forced to respond. On the morning of October 23rd, the agency expressed its deep apology, adding that the members of the agency have currently resolved all misunderstandings. Additionally, CEO Kang Sung-hee spoke exclusively with SBS News to justify her actions, claiming the allegations were started by an anti-fan who is hostile towards the management.
SNS에 올린 사람 자체가 한번 지적을 해보시면 알겠지만 굉장히 회사에 안티적인 사람이 올려서 다 느끼
Spire Entertainment warranted more backlash after a video was released by SBS that showed CEO Kang Sung-hee berating, then physically assaulting the leader, Jae-hyun, in the parking lot, who appeared to be having a panic attack. The members did their best to plead with her to stop, but after multiple attempts to calm the situation down, she seemed to get more enraged. The aggression towards the members continued inside their hotel, where security were forced to step in after Kang escalated the situation. The police were even dispatched twice to the scene created by the CEO. Additional witnesses reported more instances of abuse not only from the CEO, but also the staff. Although Spire and CEO Kang were able to address their side of the story, the members of Omega X had yet to speak about the issues. Though, this didn't stop family, friends, and people involved in the industry to speak on their behalf. Originally, the members were set to leave on a scheduled flight back to Korea the day after their LA stop, but it was assumed their flights were cancelled due to the scandal. SBS reported that the staff flew back on their scheduled flights, but Omega X members were left behind with only a manager. It was later reported that the members were forced to pay for their tickets back home with the help of their family members. Hearing this, fans rushed to the airport to make sure their members were fine. In the wake of the growing controversy, scheduled events were cancelled upon returning from their tour, assumed to further suppress the members from speaking out. On November 6, the members of Omega X broke their silence by releasing a shared statement through a newly opened Instagram account. They stated that they had to be cautious since they previously signed an agreement under pressure which stated that they would face, quote, civil and criminal legal responsibilities if they posted on social media without authorization. While Omega X were on hiatus, 4X's found CEO Kang's social media pages where they discovered that Kang Sung-hee was married to Hwang Sung-woo, the founder of Spire Entertainment. After discovering their romantic tie, fans demanded both individuals to resign from the agency in fear that Kang could still hold a high position of power if Hwang stayed at the company. Spire Entertainment eventually announced that Kang voluntarily resigned. However, JTBC News revealed that Kang was essentially assigned a new position in the company, now in charge of trainee development/management. In addition, Spire is preparing to launch yet another boy group as they had recently signed new trainees. In a press conference on November 16, 2022, Omega X addressed to the local press that they would be filing a lawsuit to fight for their rights and terminate their exclusive contracts with the agency, and would be pursuing additional legal action against the CEO Kang Sung-hee. As reported by Soompi, Omega X's legal representative announced the group's plan to file a criminal complaint on the charges of assault, intimidation, indecent act by compulsion, and attempted threat. The lawyer claimed that the members were threatened after the assault incident, and they were sent a certification of contents telling them to pay 300 to 400 million won, approximately $230,000 to $300,000 per person. Furthermore, Chairman Wang, who was above CEO Kang Song-hee, ignored everything despite being aware of the situation. Aside from announcing their lawsuit, Omega X detailed the horrific experience they allegedly suffered at the hands of Spire Entertainment and the CEO. Leader Jae-hyun explained, "The CEO, Kang Song-hee, forced us to drink, made sexual harassment comments, and repeatedly sexually harassed us by grabbing our thighs and face." Additionally, the CEO would lash out on the members and threaten to unalive herself and not release another album if the members refused to drink. Hong Yum added that while drinking, if a member was a Black Knight, he could receive a gift, but if refused, he would be shunned by the CEO the next day. Hong Yum followed up, "I was always scared about when she may call. I am currently going through medical treatment, but the sound of the phone vibrating or ringing gives me the same sense of anxiety all over again." He continued to reveal that the reason he was absent for part of the tour was because he suffered a panic attack and couldn't breathe. He added, "Before I went to the hospital, I told her once that her behavior was literally making it hard for me to breathe properly." Jaehan reiterated that the members endured the treatment because of the fear that their last opportunity would disappear. Yechan also commented, "We felt like fools when we realized that we were being gaslighted. When the older members were called for drinks, I wanted to tag along and help. We got into a habit of just laughing it over with jokes or trying to forget it." Jongwon further revealed that the higher-ups never sincerely apologized since they returned to Korea. Rather, they raised a discussion of military enlistment. Kang denied the allegations, claiming that she had taken care of the members, quote, "like their mother." On December 2nd, Korean news outlet Sports Konghyan reported that Spire had prevented Omega X from accessing their own fan cafe by changing all of the members' individual passwords without warning. Thankfully for Omega X, good news was on the horizon. On the evening of July 11th, 2023, the members of Omega X emerged victorious and successfully severed ties with Spire Entertainment. The 21st Civil Affairs Department of the Seoul Eastern District Court ruled in favor of the boy group, stating that the basic relationship of trust have disappeared and it is difficult to maintain a normal contractual relationship at this time. If the contract is continued as valid, the members' entertainment activities are expected to be greatly restricted. The members conveyed this news through their Instagram page, assuring fans that they would return with even better music and admirable performances moving forward, and are now free to seek any new agency. Law firm S lawyer No Jong-un, who represented Omega X in this case, spoke briefly to SBS about the case. This is a case where the court brought attention to the atrocities of an agency that trampled on the dreams of young people. We welcome this ruling that respected human dignity and is based on common sense. Not only has the Omega X case highlighted the need for better protection and support for K-pop artists, but has also sparked discussion about the need for greater regulation and transparency in the industry. It's important to note that the cultural and systematic change takes time and a collaborative effort from all involved, including the management agencies, government, media, the artists, and fans. By taking concrete steps to address the exploitative nature of the K-pop industry, it can become a more equitable and safe space for all involved. What are your thoughts on the Omega X case or the current state of the K-pop industry? If you like videos similar to this, drop down which case you'd like me to cover in the next video. With that being said, thank you for watching and enjoy your stay.